Hello everyone, my name is Serafi, and it is Wednesday, my dudes! Fun fact, that beginning is not actually a recording. I just yell, "It is Wednesday, my dudes," at the top of my lungs every single week. You know why? Because I can't get hyped for Wildcard Wednesdays until I'm screaming. You guys should be hyped too, because we have a great show for you this week. Mayosenju. Welcome to episode 5. So Mayosenju are Yosenju monsters, but they are the pendulum version. Now you can use these together with regular Yosenjus from last week, but they typically function better on their own, especially with the skill. So let's talk about it. The skill is called Neo Nu Silvio. And what it does is, at the beginning of the duel, you add one of the Yosenju Shinju L and Yosenju Shinju R cards outside the ether to your deck. Then, once per duel, if you've taken 2,000 damage, you can return one Yosenju card in your hand to the deck and add Yosenju Orochi Channeling to your hand from outside your deck. Orochi Channeling allows you to play both of the pendulum cards from your deck into your pendulum zones if you control no monsters. And then you can only special summon Yosenjus for the rest of the turn. So this is Pendulum Call, but it doesn't protect the cards from being destroyed, and you have a little bit of a restriction on it. Still, you have some very powerful monsters that you can summon with this skill. So let's talk about the pendulum scales real quick. Shinju L is a scale 3, and it says if a Yosenju monster you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. Allows you to protect all of your cards. Really nice. And Yosenju Shinju R says once per turn, if you have a Yosenju card in your other pendulum zone, you can crank this scales up to 11, but you can't special summon any monsters except Yosenju monsters for the rest of the turn. So you go from 3 to 11. This allows you to pendulum summon almost every Yosenju card. And the Yosenju cards you're going to want to pendulum summon are Mayosenju Hitot and Mayosenju Daibok. Hitot has 2,000 attack and 3,000 defense. If it's special summoned, you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Each time a card on the field is returned to the hand or the main deck by one of your card's effects, all Yosenju monsters you currently control gain 500 attack. And the pendulum versions of Yosenjus, the high-level monsters, return to the hand if they're special summoned. So the level 4s that we talked about last week, if you pendulum summon them, you get to keep them on the field. Whereas the pendulum monsters, if you normal summon them, you get to keep them on the field. That's kind of the trade-off. And it's an interesting dynamic. If we had a 60 card or a 40 card list, we might mix and match. But in a 20 card list, we're only going to focus on one or the other. Daibok is the real boss monster. When it's summoned, you can return 2 cards on the field to the hand. And it returns to the hand when it's at the end of the turn. It has 3,000 attack points. So you just need really one of these 2 monsters, but if you have more than one, then you can basically go for an OTK. And the rest of the deck is pretty standard. Spellbook, Magician of Prophecy with Knowledge and Secrets to kind of use your normal summon to get you 4 draws. Very solid when you don't need your normal summon for anything else. 2 Kite Roids to keep yourself alive. 2 White Princesses to keep yourself alive. 2 copies of Orochi Channeling itself because you have a chance of drawing it before you use the skill. 2 copies of Sword Sting because Sword Sting is just a very strong card. It allows you to make a better plays going first. And then you also have Secret Move, which is a card that I did not have in the last video, but it is a very good card. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, while you control at least one Yosenju card, so that includes pendulum cards, and all face-up monsters you control are Yosenju monsters, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. It's an easier card to use with the pendulum cards, because you don't need a monster on the field. As long as you control a Yosenju card and you don't have any non-Yosenju monsters, you can activate this card. So just keep one of your pendulum cards face up, pass to your opponent, activate this. Omni Negate. Very, very powerful card, and it's a rare, so it's easy to get. For the extra deck, we have a bunch of rank 10s. Utopic Dark Infinity, Gustav Max to go into Libe. Robot Galaxy Destroyer, because it is a non-respondable pop all the spells and traps, so you can just bounce all your opponent's monsters, make Robot Galaxy Destroyer, pop all their spells and traps, and then go for 5,000. Gengar Rita, which is probably the best use of your rank 10s, and then Unicorn and Phoenix, because really there's not a whole lot of extra deck cards that we could go into, so these are just good enough. Basically, the game plan is use Channeling, set your 2 scales, activate R's effect, pendulum summon whatever you have, and go for an OTK. Simple, solid, easy to understand. And they're all wind. Thank you for joining me on Wildcard Wednesdays. If you enjoy this content, please join me on the Guild of Gurus Discord server. I have my own channel, The Racetrack, which you are all welcome to post in. I post all of my videos 1 week in advance there. This is Serafi. I was thrilled to have you all with me.